What's good, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're gonna have a little conversation about what's going on in Brooklyn. Alright? It's been a common, Brian Windhorst take right now. He said what's going on in Utah. Let's talk about what's going on in Brooklyn, and I'm gonna explain why the Brooklyn Nets are completely lying to the entire league right now, and how they are fleecing and tricking the entire league to believing that Kevin Durant wants out of Brooklyn and Kyrie Irving wants out of Brooklyn. Let me explain why. First off, let's talk about the Kevin Durant trade request. All right, minutes after, not even minutes, literally within a minute after Kevin Durant requested a trade, Royce O'Neal was traded to the Brooklyn Nets for this upcoming draft's first round pick, the 2023 Brooklyn Nets first round pick. Now you would ask, look, Royce O'Neal is a very nice player, okay? Great defender, would actually fit in perfectly next to Ben Simmons, Kevin Durant, and the guys that are on that roster. It seemed like a great move at the time, but if you don't have KD on your roster, what's the point of making that move? Alright, that's the first indication. The second indication is this: why would Kyrie opt in? Why not become a free agent and try to seek somewhere elsewhere? We know Kyrie isn't a really guy who cares about the money. I mean, he gave up $19 million this season not to get vaccinated. Why would he opt in if he didn't know that he was going to stay with the team? So it's either just terrible communication or just terrible, just a lack of, empathy. I'm not sure, but listen, here's the issue with it. You can't just tell me you're going to opt into a $37 million contract and expect to be traded when you're a guy who's, let's just be honest, the only team that wants Kyrie right now is the Lakers. The Lakers don't have enough to trade for Kyrie. We know that the Nets are not going to trade Kyrie to the Lakers. Why? Because they know that a first round pick is not enough for him. Alright, it's just not worth it. When you got a roster that's capable of winning a championship with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, and a bunch of great role players like Seth Curry, Patty Mills, and by the way, they did end up re-signing Patty Mills to a 2-year, $14 million deal. Why would you do that if you weren't going to go ahead and win next season? So I think there's a lot of indication that the Nets are keeping their guys next season, that they're going to go ahead and keep the same roster that they've got. Here's a few more indications. They just signed TJ Warren today. Now, if you guys don't know, TJ Warren, pretty nice player. He's capable of scoring the basketball really well. If you guys remember, he hasn't played in a while, but this guy was one of those bubble monsters where he was averaging nearly 40 points per game in the NBA bubble. He was playing lights out, and now he gets to be with the Brooklyn team. But why would the Nets sign TJ Warren, a veteran who can contribute to your roster on a championship team, when if you're trying to rebuild it, if that's what the goal is? It doesn't make any sense. So, and they also went ahead and picked up Edmund Sumner, a guy who hasn't played in a while. I think that was a nice pickup for them. So I think here's what the plan is. They're going to go into next season with a lineup of Ben Simmons, Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Royce O'Neal, and Nicholas Claxton. I don't think they're done making trades yet. I think that they could still definitely be in the running for Miles Turner. They do have some picks from the Nets, not from the Nets, from the Sixers, that they could end up using to trade for him. I think that would be a very ideal situation for them. I think the Pacers are ultimately going to move on from Miles Turner. They just re-signed Jalen Smith to a 2-year deal. They do have guys like Isaiah Jackson that they're probably going to end up using a little bit more than we probably thought they were. They still got Goga Batadze, so they've got some young guys that they probably want to develop a little bit more than Miles. And they did end up trading Malcolm Brogdon for pretty much nothing more but a first-round pick and Aaron Nesmith and a bad contract. So we'll see what ends up happening. And look, the Nets bench is still really, really nice. You now got Patty Mills, Seth Curry. Hey, those are two great players. You got who else? You got TJ Warren now. I think they still got Kessler Edwards. They've got Cam Thomas, Daron Sharp. So, they've definitely got a lot of nice talent on that roster. And I'm very interested to see what ends up happening. Guys, I don't see Kevin Durant getting traded to Phoenix, Miami, Golden State, or anywhere like that. Why? Because the Nets know that they have him for another 4 years. And they're like, all right, why should we trade him now? Let's bring his value a little bit up, show that we want him a little bit more. And if he decides to sit out, well, guess what? He's going to be losing on $40 million, and yet we keep his trade value. So this is kind of very similar to what the Nets did with Ben Simmons. At the time, Ben Simmons really had little to no trade value. He came off a terrible playoff series. Was playing really, really bad. And, we'll see what ends up happening with him. I'm really interested to see how Ben Simmons plays next season. How he fits in with this Nets team. I think he'll fit in great, but I think the Nets still need to make a few more moves. On that note, I am going to conclude this video. I'm interested to see what ends up happening with the Nets this offseason. And, I appreciate all you guys tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll catch all y'all soon. I'm out. Peace.